Thrifting is stylish, it's affordable, and it's sustainable, right? But what if I told you thrifting isn't always as eco-friendly as it seems? Today we're diving into a different side of thrifting. We're actually diving into the dark side of thrifting. Is secondhand still sustainable? I'm looking for somebody I can call. Looking for the only one I can get my own. Tell me that it's true. Welcome back to another video. If you love thrifted, secondhand, and vintage fashion taken to another level, then you're in the right place, guaranteed. So today I'm pretty casual. As you can see, I just got home from styling mannequins all day. If you guys watch my shorts, you saw that I spent my whole day styling up Walmart mannequins. And the crazy thing is that someone walked past the mannequins and they were like, whoa, Walmart is coming up. So I guess that's a thumbs up for the styling of the mannequins. But that has been my day, so this is why I look pretty casual. But I wanted to record this video because this video has been on my brain for a few months now, and I wanted to talk about what I've been seeing as far as the secondhand and thrifting world. So I've been watching a few content creators who do thrifting content or sustainable fashion content and who've been doing it for a while, and I've seen them take a different approach to thrifting. And it's funny because my approach to thrifting and my approach to buying secondhand has kind of shifted within the past, I would say, probably a year or so. A lot has to do with it, not just like financial, but the way that I look at thrifting and what I thrift and how I thrift is totally different than like when I first began. So in this video, we're going to talk about the dark side of thrifting because you guys know I'm a very authentic person. I used to say I talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between in my videos, and that has to do with business, entrepreneurship, as well as thrifting. So you guys have heard about the good, about how much I love thrifting and love secondhand, love sustainability, love vintage. So you've heard the good. So now I want to turn and talk about the bad, because everything has a good side and it also has a bad side. So I want to dive into what is the dark side of thrifting. So let's get into it. So let's take a trip down memory lane. If you're here, if you're watching me, that means that you love thrifting or you have thrifted before. And what I want to do is I want to take you back to that first ever thrift trip. So imagine you walking into the thrift store for the very first time. You see these signs that have like prices like $1, $2, $5, and you're just stunned. You're like, wow, these prices are amazing. You decide to peruse the racks. So you're looking at the racks. You're looking at this amazing, unique piece. You're like, oh my goodness, I have to have this piece. I'm going to put it in my cart. You put it in your cart. And then you spot another piece. You're like, wow, I wanted this piece 2 years ago, but I didn't have the money, or I just didn't have the time, or it sold out before I could buy it. I'm going to put this in my cart. You throw it in your cart. And you keep finding those amazing pieces. You keep throwing them in your cart, throwing them in your cart, throwing them in your cart. Before long, your cart is overflowing. It is just almost about to tip over. And because this is your first thrift trip, you don't have the skills or the mindset to shift through or sift through your cart. So what do? You buy everything. So you roll your cart up to the register. You take off your hangers, because that's what we do at the thrift store. And then they start adding everything up. They add everything up, and your grand total is $70. So $70 for all all of this stuff. Like, wow, where they do that at? Like $70? Oh my goodness. So you walk out the thrift store with like 2 to 5 bags of just amazing, amazing items. You just have this high that you're like, wow, I have to do that again. I have to do that again. And then once you get home, you decide that you're going to take out a few pieces that you want to wear right now. You want to wash them and wear them this week. And you decide that you're going to put the rest in a closet or in the corner, wherever you have the room. And you do that. And then the upcoming week, you want to get that high again. So you go thrifting again. And then you repeat the same thing. You bring home 2 to 5 bags. You take out what you want to wear immediately. And you put the rest in the closet or in the corner. Before long, your house is full of bags of clothes, shoes, accessories, all of that type of stuff. And then you have to make the decision, because you're overwhelmed, to go through the bags. And when you finally go through these bags, guess what? You're like, I'm never gonna wear this. I don't even know why I even bought this. So you start another pile of items you're gonna redonate because what? You don't want them any longer. And then before long, you have like 10 to 20 bags that you're gonna redonate. So we're told that shopping secondhand is the best way to shop for our planet. And honestly, it is in most cases. But it is so easy to fall into that mindset of shopping like you're shopping fast fashion. When we overconsume, no matter how cheap it is, no matter if it's secondhand, it still leads to waste, clutter, and impulse buying. It is not how green it is. It is pretty much what you do with it and how you keep it. So when we're talking about gentrification, let's put it in the context of a neighborhood. So we're living in a neighborhood of a specific demographic, and this neighborhood is pretty run down. But the people that live here, they've been living here for decades upon decades. Their children, grandchildren have been raised here. Their great grandmother bought a house here. You see a Whole Foods pop up, or a Trader Joe's pop up, or a trendy coffee shop pop up. You see a young white lady jogging at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then you notice your rent is creeping up. Sooner or later, you can't afford to pay the rent that you've been paying for 5 to 10 years. It became way too expensive for you to stay in the place that you pretty much grew up in. So you have to move away because you need to find somewhere that is more affordable, because the place that you stayed is no longer affordable. That is gentrification. Let's talk about it in the secondhand thrifting context. So when I started thrifting 20 plus years ago, no one really thrifted. People thought thrifting was dirty, was disgusting. It was only for poor people, right? But now, because we have so many people, it became popular, and now even celebrities thrift. Everybody wants to say it's sustainable. They're wearing something secondhand, something vintage, all of that. So with that popularity came prices raising, because a lot of thrift stores, even the ones that say they're non-profit, are for profit. They want to make money just like every other business want to make money. So they're going to raise those prices. They see what brands are trending, so they're going to make those brands more pricey. Even in the thrift store, they see what people are looking for. They're going to raise those prices. So just like that example that I just gave, the people that actually could live there, could afford thrifting, can no longer afford thrifting. So they have to figure out a way to buy their clothes now, because they can't afford what they used to do. So let's talk about, where do these items go that are not in the thrift stores? Most items that are donated don't end up on a hanger. So if you know anything about my background, you know that I worked for a company that is the largest thrift store online, and I saw behind the scenes of what happens with a lot of clothes that are not put on the website. I also have been in this secondhand thrifting industry for over 20 years. So I understand what happens to items that don't make it to thrift stores. Hierarchy. Let's take Goodwill for an example. So the designer luxury items for Goodwill, they go on the website. They go on Goodwill's website, and you can either bid or you can buy straight out, I think, those items. And then the other items that are good enough to be in the store go into the store. The items that are not good enough to go into their, I guess you could say, their regular stores, they are sent to the bins and to their outlets. The items that are not good enough to be in the bins or the outlets, guess where they go? They are bundled up and shipped overseas. So when they're shipped overseas, they flood the markets and the streets and everything like that overseas in these countries that pretty much can't afford a lot of things. This pollution of clothing waste everywhere, and they have to deal with that. So you may say, okay, Kesha, since you saying all of this about going to the thrift store, shopping on the thrift store, I'm just going to limit my secondhand shopping to shopping online. That's it. There is a price to shopping online as well. And I'm not doing this to you guys. I'm doing this to myself because you know what? I am a reseller and I also thrift. So all of this is something that I do and have done. So let's talk about the online atmosphere. So yes, you're buying secondhand. Yes, you're buying sustainable. But guess what? That packaging that you're getting may not be sustainable. That the cycle of returns is leaving a carbon footprint. All of that is going into the way that it is lessening the sustainability of the deed that you're doing. So I even had to think about this when I started packaging my packages to send out. I used to package in this plastic bag because I thought it looked professional, but I had to think about, okay, I'm standing on sustainability, I'm standing on secondhand and being good for the environment, but I'm sending out packages in plastic. So I had to rethink, and I'm still rethinking the way that I send out packages. I'm saying that you shouldn't buy online because yes, you're still shopping sustainable, but we have to think about a more sustainable way to send out and like mail these packages out and package them and all of that type of stuff. So after saying all of that, what can we do? I'm not making this video to wag the finger at anyone because I'm pointing the finger like this. This is what I've done for years. And when I was talking about the OG thrifters that I watch, the shift in the mindset is pretty much a way of thinking about approaching how you thrift. I watch B. Jones Style, and she has been talking about thrifting more intentional. That is the wording that she uses. She doesn't buy anything that isn't intentional for her wardrobe. And that is the way that I've been thinking about approaching thrifting. I want to thrift more intentional because I've done the whole thrifting, bringing 5 bags home, not wearing none of it, and having to put it in my inventory, and now I have a huge inventory that I would never sell through no matter how many years I do this business. I can never sell through this inventory. So just thinking about the way that I thrift, keeping in mind what I have in my inventory already or my closet already. And I don't need 5 gray suits. I don't need 5 or 3 80s blazers with the sequins on it if I haven't sold that one. So just being more intentional of the way that you shop and the way that you thrift. Before I let you guys go, I have a few tips for you as well. Even though I just gave you a tip, but here are some tips that you can implement to be more mindful. So number 1, think with intention. I just said that, not impulse. Even though you come across an item that is the most unique item ever, will you wear it? Or will you sell it if you are a reseller? Think about those. Ask yourself those questions. Shop for quality and longevity, not just brand. Is this something that you can keep in your wardrobe for years upon years? Will you reach for it on a weekly basis? Will it last for a year or two? Is it made of that quality, washing, and all of that other type of stuff? Support conscious resellers. So I am a reseller, and you guys know my train of thought if you've been here for a while. So support the people that are conscious about the way that they present these secondhand items, the way that they want to change their packaging or do packaging, all of that type of stuff, their values on sustainability. Support those type of resellers. Choose natural fabrics when possible. So this one is so true. I had a client that I was doing a style box for, and she did not want any synthetic fibers, and at that time it was a headache for me. I'm not even gonna lie. But just thinking about it, she was on the right track, because those items will last longer. They're better for the environment, all of that. So definitely, if you can, get those natural fibers. Less, wash cold, line dry, will reduce the microplastics. I would even go as far as to just read the care label so that you know how to take care of your clothes. So I hope I gave you guys something to think about. Like I said, this video is not telling you not to thrift, because I'm still gonna thrift, but I'm doing it intentional. I'm doing it in a different way. I'm not walking out the thrift store with 5 bags of clothes. And I'm actually doing this video for you guys to hold me accountable, and for you to hold yourself accountable, because the next video might be a come thrifting with me. Who knows? And if I do walk out the thrift store with 5 bags, then you can be like, Kesha, you just did a whole video. What are you talking about? What are you doing? So I'm trying to be more intentional, and I want you guys to think about what I've said, and I hope I gave you some good information so that you can implement this in your daily thrift life as well. Leave in the comment section if you have any tips on how to thrift more intentional, or a better way of thrifting, or leave in the comments if you have something else that is a part of the dark side of thrifting. Let me know. Remember to like, comment, share if you know anybody who loves thrifting. They may want to hear this information as well. And also subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. We're still trying to grow over here. Definitely always trying to grow. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekday. And I will holler at you guys later.